Welcome to Hey Gen Podcast. Today, we're diving into The Good Guys by Donald Broussard. It's all about ethical governance and reclaiming the America we believed in.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. So what's the main issue Broussard is addressing?
Well, he highlights the double standards in international relations.
Right.
For example, how swiftly the world condemned Russia's actions in Ukraine, but when it comes to other conflicts, like in Gaza, the response is, well, it's delayed or muted.
Yeah, it's like there's a selective outrage.
Exactly. And social media is making it harder to ignore these inconsistencies. People can share real-time footage, which exposes these double standards even more.
But do you think it's just about media portrayal? Or is there more to it?
There's definitely more. Broussard talks about growing up on propaganda. Our education often gives us a sanitized version of history.
Like how certain events are glossed over?
Yeah, exactly. We learn about explorers discovering new
Right.
lands, but not about the atrocities committed against indigenous populations.
That realization can be quite a shock.
It was for him. In Chapter 3, he describes his own heartbreak and awakening, coming to terms with the fact
Yeah.
that the narrative he believed in wasn't the whole truth.
That must have been intense. How did he cope with that?
He talks about feelings of isolation, guilt, even anger, but also about finding connections with others who see the same issues.
So what's his solution?
He proposes the Humanity First doctrine. It's a framework for ethical governance that puts human dignity at the forefront.
Sounds idealistic. Do you think it's practical?
I think so. He gives real-world examples, like how Scandinavian countries prioritize social welfare and transparency.
But can those models be applied globally?
Well, that's a good point. Cultural and political differences make it challenging, but the core principles are universal.
I guess starting with small steps could make a difference.
Exactly. He emphasizes that change begins with individuals recognizing their own complicity and taking action.
It's empowering to think we can contribute to such change.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's about transforming heartbreak into hope and actively shaping the future we want to see.
I'm inspired. Where can listeners find this book?
It's titled The Good Guys by Donald Broussard. Definitely worth a read if you're interested in ethical governance and making a positive impact.
Thanks for sharing this. It's been an enlightening discussion.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Always excited to dive into topics that challenge us to think differently.
Looking forward to our next conversation.